a lot of times what's not working in a love relationship is that both parties.
Just
Okay. I'm trying to say that.
hold on. Hey everybody, welcome to our life. My name is Ron Cecil.
My name is Morgan Day Cecil.
We've been married 14 years. And prior to our relationship, for the last, 23 years of our adult life, we've been asking one question.
What does it take to be free?
And today we're talking specifically, how do you do that within the confines or the gift of marriage?
Confines and the gift of marriage. Yeah, because I think the question, what does it take to be free, leads to, okay, I'm not free, so how do I change my life?
And I think the reason we are asking this question is because there's this strange thing that happens in our culture around relationship, and that is we become, unfortunately, quite codependent in a relationship pretty fast. In the beginning of a relationship, it feels good. There's a lot of erotic energy. We see the best in each other. We have this crazy projection of what this person could become, what I can become, what our relationship could turn into. But pretty fast, we get hypnotized by the comfort of being with one another. And over time, it actually turns into lesser versions of ourselves and then lesser versions of our relationship.
And then complete breakdown. And then complete and utter rupture where your life is falling apart and it's an oh shit is hitting the fan moments. And you really ask the question, what does it take to change? And so let's dive in.
Let's do it. I also want to say, no matter where you are in your relationship, whether you're a year in, 5 years in, over a decade in, you are actually going to go through this many times.
Yeah.
Just know that relationships change. We change. And the reason why relationships change is because we change. We mature. When we met, we were like in our mid-20s, like 24 years old.
Yeah.
We started a relationship around 27, 28 years old. We were married at 29. And now we're in our early 40s. And we've gone through some big overhauls in ourselves.
So many versions of ourselves and so many versions of our relationship. And we've gone through the spiral enough times to know, okay, there's a pattern here. There's a map here on how we can move through the pain faster and get to what we want to be feeling again, which is love and connection and pleasure.
That's right.
We have unique gifts to offer the world. And part of marriage is getting to be with someone who helps you fulfill those gifts.
Everything that we're talking about today, we've lived and we've been working for a long time. And I want to tell you what's on the other side of this. Good things, more connection, more fun around each other, more pleasure in our bodies, more purpose in our marriage. We become better parents. We just show up better for ourselves.
Yeah.
So stick to it. Like really hear what we're saying, begin to apply it in your life. And know that you can change no matter what's gone on in your relationship, no matter what trauma that you've experienced personally or within the bounds of your marriage, you can change. Good things can happen. Healing can take place.
And it's worth fighting for. If you are partnered with someone who is in this with you, who is fighting with you, that mutuality is priceless and it is not a given. So your marriage is worth fighting for. Your relationship, that true love partnership is absolutely worth fighting for. Love over the long haul is getting rarer and rarer. And we want to help you guys be in it to win it for the long run.
Trademark.
But here's the thing. Life is meant to be lived passionately, erotically. The problem we cannot stand is the lack of love in the world, the lack of connection, the lack of eros and life to the full in the world. And we are here because we believe in a life of true romance and meaningful adventure. That is the world we are creating for ourselves, for our children, for our community, and that is the world we are inviting you into too.
Let's jump into this. There are only 4 things you need to focus on when it comes to changing your relationship.
First step, face the facts. Shit has hit the fan or it's on its way.
Yes. It's imminent if it hasn't already happened.
And you are at a low point or on your way to a low point, and it's time to take a look at things.
When Morgan and I first started doing this, we called it a State of the Union address. Mm-hmm. And here's what it is. It really is an audit of your entire life. Like it might be helpful for you to get out a piece of paper and to write some things down, understand why it's painful, what's been going on, and then ask yourself a central question to this. What happens if we do nothing? If life stays exactly as it is, and if you continue to behave and act like you do? Where's that going to lead?
Yeah, this is about reckoning with yourself first and foremost, and also the dynamics in your relationship. It's
That's
about
right.
being really real with what's going on, what's not working, and what is working too. Like, take account of both those things.
That's right. So some examples of things that are working or not working, right? It may be the way that you speak to one another isn't working. It may be that your lack of connection on date nights isn't working. Get very clear, get specific. You want to turn whatever is vague in your life into clarity. You want to have clarity around what's not working.
So after you face the facts, it's really important to focus on taking supremely good care of the basics. A lot of times, what's not working in your marriage has a lot to do with how much time you're spending living in your head. You are not connecting to your body. You are not embodied, and you may get stuck in a gear. Women, you may be stuck in the masculine gear, which means you're working all the time, feeling like you need to do it all yourself. You're in doing mode. You're the independent woman. You may be the breadwinner, and you can't get out of your head.
Another way that this often happens is one or both of you is stuck numbing out. It's just easier to find pleasure all the time. That could be your phone, that could be drugs and alcohol, it could be the screen time, it could even be focusing entirely on raising your kids versus taking care of yourself. Here's some ways you know that you are not taking supremely good care of the basics. You've gained a few pounds, your mind is completely frazzled all the time, you're not getting good sleep, so you're using coffee or other stimulants all the time to stay in it. And when you're like that, you can't show up together.
Women, this could look like having no desire for sex or only using sex to escape and not really connect. Maybe you don't feel like you have any time to feel pleasure. Maybe you just have too much on your to-do list and you would rather focus on the to-do list and being productive than slowing down and being sensual and connecting sexually with your partner.
So as a start, taking extremely good care of the basics is take care of your body.
As an embodiment coach, I truly feel part of the sacred calling of every single person on the planet right now is to become more embodied. The benefits of embodiment is going to serve you in changing your life. The benefits include better sleep, more focus, more access to pleasure. Your nervous system isn't going to be in fight or flight anymore. You're going to have access to your intuitive wisdom when you're more embodied. So it's so important to begin to focus on these really basic things like good sleep, good food, maybe stop drinking for a while, clear your mind. When you take supremely good care of the basics, you're going to have more resources available to you to change your life.
Start to work out, get better sleep, cut down on the caffeine, cut down on the screen time. You don't have to guess what these things are. I'm sure you could spend 1 minute and write down 10 things that you could start doing today and really give yourself over. I know for our life, as we've gotten older, we've realized that taking extremely good care of the basics is fundamental. It's non-negotiable. We've taken drastic measures in our life. We work out routinely. We get to bed like
really good time,
like before 10 o'clock.
Way before our kids go to sleep.
We don't bring screens anymore to bed like we used to. We open a book. I only take cold showers. We only drink coffee about once a week now.
The reason is your body has so much wisdom to offer you. Your body can guide you through a really hard time if you slow down and learn how to connect with it. When you're living in your head all the time, you don't have access to the wisdom in your body and to that deep intuitive guidance that you need to take the right next step in your life.
Another way to think about it is if you are disconnected, you aren't actually thinking your right thoughts. Like you are having unoriginal thoughts that are heavily influenced by all the ways that you are numbing out or staying distracted.
The body is our access to the present moment. And if we are living in the past, if we're living in the future, worried or feeling regret or shame or fear, we are not having access to all of the creative possibilities available to us in the here and now. And that begins to open up when you get more embodied as a man, as a woman.
Let's go to step 3.
Step 3 is drop the resentment.
This is especially true in a relationship. It's a good tool to have in life. This is especially true for relationships. If you want to change your relationship, you cannot go forward with this idea that your partner owes you something. It just can't be done. You literally have to practice forgiving one another and letting go whatever you feel like is you are entitled to. Often the men I work with say something like, why can't she just understand the way I feel? Well, the reason is because she can't get in your head. She can't get in your body, just like you can't get in her head and her
Yes.
body.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is, I observe what's happening with her. I can watch her. I can see her from the outside, but I don't know exactly what she feels like.
And that resentment is really just staying in victim mode. When we are resenting anybody for anything, it's a form of blame. And it keeps us away from our power. It keeps us from being able to change if we hold on to those resentments. For me, I had to make a personal vow to stop emasculating my husband. This was something that would happen when I was angry, when I was fed up, when I was tired, when I was burnt out, and I felt so much shame and guilt around it, but I did it. And it broke his.
It broke my penis.
It broke his penis. Working with my clients, I know this is a common thing: is that women who are high functioning, independent, career driven, it's really an icky place to be in when we are emasculating our men. Women, we do this without wanting to do this, but it's part of this thing that's happening right now when there is a lot of anger and a lot of blame directed at men, the patriarchy. But men are affected by the patriarchy too. So when we are in that mode of fuck the patriarchy, smash the patriarchy, we may be projecting a lot of our anger at the system to our men, to our partners, and that is not helping the relationship at all. It's actually hurting you and hurting him.
The other side of that coin is if you are a conscious male and you're trying to not be that guy or to participate in the patriarchy, you can often feel like it's unsafe for you to live in your full masculine energy. Many of us have tried to be stay-at-home dads, or we have tried to be nice guys. And the problem with that is when I stay more in my feminine energy, or Morgan stays more in her masculine energy, and we live in that space, we get it backwards. We don't live in the right dynamics of our relationship, and resentment loves to grow in that place. Think of it as a fungus in a dark, moldy, disgusting place. The more it stays like that, the more it grows. Now, to help you come out of that resentment is just to understand that you've been in that place. Understand that you've been emasculating your husband. Men, understand that you've been living in that more feminine place. I know for me, the reason I lived in there was because I was raised in that. I was raised by a group of single moms. I mean, my mother was a single mom. Her mother was a single mom. Her mother's mother was a single mom. Being masculine wasn't welcome. I learned how to be a good boy and how to say and do all the right things that pleased those women. I continued to stay in that when I felt unsafe in our relationship. The problem is it doesn't work. It actually makes her want to emasculate me more. It makes her want to be in her masculine energy more.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing that's happening. So many relationships find themselves in this dynamic where men are suffering from nice guy syndrome and women are in what I would call good girl 2.0, which is they don't want to burden anybody else. As good girls, they weren't allowed to have their own desires, their own needs, and they were really there to serve everybody else. Well, good girl 2.0 is I don't want to burden anybody with my desires and my needs, and so I'm going to take care of it myself. I'm going to be self-reliant. I'm going to be independent. I'm not going to need anybody. And when we get into that energy, we are operating in our masculine, this toxic masculinity that isn't in balance, that isn't our wholeness. And it creates this cycle of toxicity in the relationship where we don't know how to get out of it because we don't trust that our men will show up for us, that our men will provide and protect us because they've been living in their feminine, which is more passive and not taking action. And so we rush in to do all the actions and then we get resentful.
There's a way to get out of this, and it comes back to the very beginning. Understand what's not working. Is this working for you to stay in your masculine energy for women? Is it working, men, for you to stay in your feminine energy? I think part of dropping the resentment is going to require you, both of you, to say to each other, look at each other in the face, and to say what you have been personally responsible for in your relationship. Once you've done that, you have to understand the second part to that is that was some function of you trying to stay safe. You were doing the best you could with what you had. Unfortunately, because you didn't have a good model growing up, and because the feedback loop of this worked for a little while, it made you feel safe for a little while. The last thing you need to understand about dropping the resentment is it's a practice. You may have to do it over and over and over again. And here's where I think it's most important is to recognize the resentment and self-hatred that you have towards yourself. It's so often that when we're blaming the other, what we're really doing is judging ourselves and projecting it on someone.
That is so true. Every single time I would get so angry at Ronnie and emasculate him, I was really broken about some part of me. And I was projecting that pain onto him and making him to blame for everything and what's not working in my life. So this piece is really big, and you have to go through it imperfectly, meaning you might mess up because you don't have tools yet. You might resort to your old coping mechanisms. So this is when getting a coach to help you become initiated in your femininity, initiated in your masculinity might be very, very helpful. You can learn tools so you don't have to live in your head. You don't have to live in the stuck energy anymore. And you learn how to access the other parts of you that will bring you back into wholeness, because every single one of us has masculine and feminine energy, and it's about getting that ratio right for you so you are functioning in your wholeness, in your true essence. The fourth step is to pursue what lights you up. I would say a big reason why we ask, how do we change? How do we change our life? What does it take to get free? How do we change our marriage? Is because we want to live in alignment with our soul. We want to experience fulfillment at the soul level.
Guys, if you are new to this, there's probably some part of you that doesn't even know what lights you up. And you're going to have to practice learning how to do that. The easiest way to do that for men is to hang out with other men and do guy stuff. Literally spend time with guys. Pick up the phone, call your friends, call guys that you've not connected with in a while, but you like and respect them, and hang out. Don't just talk, go do something. Go on a bike ride, go shoot some guns, go shoot some bows, whatever it is you need to do. Go do it. You need that energy. What's going to happen is it's going to connect you to a part of yourself that's been dormant. And as you connect to that part of yourself that's been dormant, it's going to realize that it's safe to be lit up again. And it's safe to have desires and safe to go after things that it wants. If this is a journey, these are the first steps to this journey. It's going to take a while.
And for women, to pursue what lights you up, I always have my clients to start tracking, where do they feel delight or pleasure? And if they're not feeling any delight or pleasure in their life right now, then what about when you're a little girl? What lit you up when you were 6 or 7 years old? Did you love drawing? Did you love writing? Did you love dancing? Write those things down and start weaving in time to create, to play music, to turn on music and dance, move your body around, spend time in nature. This is a way to get back to your original essence. And then together, after you've had some personal wins around doing things that light you up, you can come together and start talking about your bigger dreams for your life. What are some of the dreams that you share that you want to put your efforts in together to achieve? What are some of your shared soul goals? What is something that lights both of you up that would really be super exciting to pursue together, that would require you to become the number one team of the universe? This is when life gets really exciting and when life really starts to change and when your marriage is going to radically change, is when you pursue a mission together, whether that's a business or a big trip or a home remodel or an adventure outside. If you can identify one thing that requires you to be a team to accomplish, this is going to bring you closer. It's also going to trigger the heck out of you, but you can use all the other tools we've talked about to work through it. And in the end, your life is going to change, and so is your marriage.
Purpose of your relationship isn't comfort and happiness. Those are byproducts of working on your relationship. The purpose is companionship over the long haul, but it's also becoming fully who you are. It's been said that marriage is a crucible. It refines who you are. And crucibles are two things. They're high pressure and they're very hot.
Very hot. It's a purifying fire. And if you want to grow into the best version of yourself, there are some things that just aren't going to be possible to access unless you're inside a committed relationship. Marriage being this beautiful container that hold you down. It's not easy to get away, especially when you have kids. And so it forces you to face these things in yourself that aren't working, these things in yourself that are keeping you stuck. And when you can work through these things, not only do you have a better relationship, you get to experience who you were created to be. Life to the full, romance and adventure.
Love, love, and more love.
Love, love, and more love.
Guys, we've gone through it all. Like, we've had tons of contempt for one another. We've been very resentful. We've spoken down to each other. We've said things that we wish we wouldn't have said. But things can change. We have forgiven one another. And the fact of the matter is, we are more in love with one another and more in lust with one another then we've been ever in our relationship.
After 14 years, that's saying something.
Thanks for joining us, guys. If you like this information, if you liked what you saw today, please like and subscribe.
If you want more support, check out the links and the resources below and reach out to us for coaching.
There you go.
Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace.